Good day and welcome everyone to the first episode of a PMD podcast. I'm your host, Maximilian Korsch, aka Bloodfencer, and with me today is probably the most important guest we could have, Melody Herring, aka Purple Cackleon, aka PK. Say hello to your adoring fans, Cack.
Oh, hello everyone. I hope this is going to be exciting.
So today we are going to keep the show relatively simple, mainly talking about PK herself, before delving into some basic things about the group itself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, PK.
Well, obviously I like drawing. I really like managing the group, or else I probably wouldn't be doing it. So it gives me a lot of, energy to keep going, because people keep being really into it, and so I'm really grateful for that.
So what some of your followers might not be aware of is that you're actually a married woman. How did you find that special someone at such a young age?
Well, it was kind of funny. We met online because of a Pokemon art channel, I guess you would say. And that was really it. I don't know. I met him when I was 16, and from then we kept talking, and I realized that was how it was going to be. I really wanted to be with him for, I guess I'm stuck forever. But yeah.
That's a nice kind of thought to have about someone. Being stuck with him forever.
It's true.
So you basically just met him doing what you are doing right now.
Yep.
Excellent. And now this will probably sound odd to some of our viewers, but you're actually also in a relationship with another guy, and all three of you live together and contribute to the group in one way or another. I'm sure this is a normal situation for you now, but wasn't it odd at first?
It was a little strange to deal with, but it feels normal to me, and I'm happy every day getting to talk to both of them about the thing I like doing, so I don't know. That's an ideal situation for me. I get to be around people who really like the thing we're doing, and I can't really imagine it any other way.
And isn't being with a person you love, people you love, the most important thing in the world?
It is. It really is. Especially when they like doing the same things as you. This was actually really nice, sort of bonding activity. We get together, and this is the thing we talk about. This and our other project. Having something to work on with people you care about really, really helps bring you closer together with them, which is, I guess, something I didn't experience a whole lot as a kid. We didn't do a bunch of family stuff together, so being around two people I always can talk to about the ideas I'm working on, the things I'm doing, is really fantastic because we can all work together on it, and that's a really excellent experience for me.
So PMDE actually had a pretty deep impact on your personal life.
It did, yeah. It pretty much defines what I do every day.
But what about your one true love? The one that will always be there for you and whose love to you is probably greater than your husbands and boyfriends combined. Of course I'm talking about Twigs.
Twigs! Of course.
How did you happen upon that lovely little critter?
Well, for the people who aren't aware, Twigs is my hairless cat. He's basically the craziest cat I've ever known. He's the nicest cat I've ever known. And before I moved away from Baltimore after I was done with art school, I decided I really wanted to get some sort of breed of cat. And while we were moving across the country, we actually broke down in the middle of the U.S. We were stuck in a stupid motel for 5 days. And that was not fun. So I passed the time by looking up cat stuff online, barely with the crappy internet. And I found there was a cat breeder near where we were going to be moving. And I sent her an email, and I was like, hey, I would like to get a kitten if you still have them. And I checked out Twigs, and I instantly fell in love with him.
Oh. In most cases, it is more that the pet actually chooses its owner, right?
It is, but in this case, Twigs actually ran away from me, and I was like, no, you're so cute, I have to have you. That's there was another cat that came up to me, but that's not the one I wanted. I wanted Twig.
Actually, I have a few friends who always had it the other way around. They had one kitten that was really into them, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, you're so cute! I love you because you love me."
Yeah, that's what Eepy did with his cat.
Aww.
Yeah,
So that's how you got Sticks.
it is. Yeah.
Sticks and Twigs. Are there any
They-
other animals that would interest you as a pet?
Oh, yeah. I want to get some sort of chameleon one day, but I don't really have the room for one right now.
Hmm.
So I'm holding out until I do have room.
Chameleons are also among the more care-intensive reptiles out there.
Yeah, they are, which also makes me nervous. I want to like be in a spot where I know I can take care of one. And right now, there's not enough space, etc. I want to be positive that I can do it.
Yeah, what you want to make absolutely sure of is that there's a good vet nearby.
Yeah.
Possibly like within 30 minutes of your house, because if a chameleon gets ill, they'll really get ill, and
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
yeah. So, but I'm sure you would make a great reptile owner,
I would
herpetologist.
like one day.
Yo. But enough of your love life. I think I've intruded on your personal matters long enough, and I don't want to overstay my welcome. So how about we talk about your passion for art? How did it all start for the humble little girl from the American West Coast?
Oh my goodness. Well, I actually was born on the East Coast. I was
Alright.
I was born in Virginia.
Hmm.
And I don't remember it a whole bunch, but I guess I've always been drawing. I went to my grandmother's house a couple of years ago, and she had drawings I did when I was around 2. And I remembered making them. I remembered making the drawings. It was a little stick guy. Supposed to be a French guy, I guess, and he had like a mustache. He was a waiter and he was serving food. I don't know why I drew that, but
Did he
I
have a
guess
baguette?
no, but he was very clearly supposed to be French. Um,
Obviously.
I remember, I don't know. I've never not drawn, so it's a weird question. It's it's really something I always did. I remember my mom got me these books they had like alphabet letters in them or whatever, and the pictures weren't colored. So I fixed that quickly. And I remember she was sort of, I guess, like amused, but also, I guess, didn't want me to have colored in the book. But that's just how it went. Can't really stop someone from doing art if they're a kid.
Hmm. And then you went on to art school, and how did you like it there?
It was really nice. The biggest problem I have with art school in the US right now is most places are either absurdly expensive or they don't teach you anything or both.
Hmm.
And that's really a shame. School is getting way too expensive here. I quit school a year and a half in. Just I didn't get the classes I wanted for one semester, and I thought to myself, it is not worth paying nearly $20,000 a semester if I'm not even getting the classes I want. So that sucked.
Yeah, that
But I
sounds.
did enjoy it.
Yeah, that really sounded like not an optimal scenario. So you're probably better off having left school when you did, right?
Yeah, actually. Otherwise, my payments would be like absurd each month.
And, well, now drawing has pretty much become your life, or always has been your life. You really
Yeah,
draw
but
a
now
lot.
I can do what I want.
You really
So,
draw a lot, most of your time actually, most of your waking hours, and it's good practice if it earns your daily bread. But what about your free time? What does BK do when she's not on the job?
oh, I don't know. Honestly, whenever people ask this, I try and think about what I do, and it's, I don't know, I spend time with my cat. I read books related to things I find interesting.
No rest for the
Not,
wicked, huh?
I guess so, yeah. I really just draw in my spare time.
Are there any games you enjoy?
I enjoy the Exile series, or I
Excellent.
guess, yeah, they're being remade as Avernum.
Ah,
But yeah, it's like little indie games. I really like them, and Gene Forge by the same guy. Aside from that, I like a lot of common games like Pokemon, obviously. Zelda's kind of cool. I liked Sonic ages ago, but not. I don't like the games anymore. Really.
Yeah,
I don't think many people do.
the more recent ones have lost a little bit of
Yeah.
its former glory. Although Sonic Generations wasn't too bad, the music was
I
great.
I hear that. Yeah.
The final
I
boss
haven't
was a
tried
bit
it yet.
obnoxious, but you can't always win.
Oh,
All
I
right,
do like. I like Animal Crossing too.
Animal Crossing, of course.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the next installment, I heard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got a European DS, so I can play the French version or any other version. I feel like.
Ah, yes, now that you mention it, you might be moving to France at some point.
Yeah. Hopefully, if things go well, in March I'll be visiting uh France to visit the Transformice people, and I will be working with them for a couple of weeks. And if that goes well and everything is fine, I'll be arranging to move out there, and we'll be planning a move for both my husband and my boyfriend. And as it turns out, it's really lucky that Evie has he has UK citizenship as well as US citizenship, so
Hmm.
he'll be able to move over and move in without much problem at all. And yeah, and since I'm married to Marl, that wouldn't be a problem either, really. It would be a little bit of a hassle, but not much.
Well, I hope the immigration process goes okay for you.
Yeah, I hope it goes and works out. Like I have hopes that it should.
Well, I
So
don't think the French people are too strict on their policies.
yeah, I honestly don't know a whole lot about it. I'm crossing my fingers, hoping it goes well.
I wish you the best of luck.
Thank
So,
you.
all right, I think it's time for us to steer the conversation towards another topic. In a journal on deviantArt, we asked you guys for some input on topics you want to hear. One of the biggest topics was how did this group start? So tell us, PK, what made you decide to create this group?
Oh, well, honestly, PMD started because, well, while I was in school, I participated in one of these tournament things that people, I'm sure, some people might remember. It was a Battle Frontier group. And I lasted till like round 2 or 3. And it became a little hard to keep going because the time limit was so strict. There was really not much incentive to keep doing it, and you had to participate in every round or you got kicked out. And if you just lost anyway, well, that's how that was.
Hmm.
It kind of sucked.
That sounds vastly
So,
different from your approach to this kind of system.
yeah, I am only decided to start a group like this, as it turns out, because I ended up losing versus someone. And I was really unhappy about that. Felt that I should have won. It was really, I was like livid. I was like, I can't believe this, blah, blah, blah. And the other person even thought I should have won too. It doesn't matter at all because that led me to think, well, I hate losing, so I want to make a group where no one loses. That's honestly how it went down. I get stupidly competitive about things, so I try and avoid being in competitions really because I just get really into it and then I get all annoyed. So that I really, yeah, I lost. I wanted to start a group where people couldn't lose. The person who I was up against, their art was a lot less experienced. So I was also annoyed because I was like, wow, I lost because I didn't follow some petty arbitrary rule. And that's why I lost. And then I felt annoyed because when I thought back on it, we shouldn't have even been competing against each other because our art was such a different skill level. So it felt really stupid that everyone was in the same category when not everyone has the same amount of experience drawing.
Right.
So that's why there are 3 different drawing groups and 2 different writing groups because really everyone shouldn't be lumped together if there's any sort of judging going on. It just
Exactly.
shouldn't be, yeah, it shouldn't be how it is. And losing sucks. So none of that. People can do better or worse, but there's no way to like flunk out of the group. People can participate anytime, or they can choose to not participate for a while and then come back. That was really important to me. I didn't want to make people feel obligated to keep going because then it's like a chore. It's not something that they want to do.
Well, there
Um,
you have it, folks. In PMDE, everyone is a winner.
Whatever. But yeah, that was a really strong, uh, I guess the beginning for me where I just thought this isn't how groups should be. After that, I didn't really like how much people focused on the trainer. Like I understand people want to feel like their Pokemon trainer is super important, but
Hmm.
the applications, the Pokemon squares were so tiny. It was like a huge big square for the trainer where you didn't need one that big, and then just tiny squares for the Pokemon where it only showed off like their head. And I thought that was a little ridiculous. Like, here's our Pokemon group, pay attention to our people, our super cool people characters. Like, I wasn't really into that. I mostly joined because I like Pokemon. So the next question was, how do I make a Pokemon group with Pokemon, where Pokemon are important and not the trainers, because I
And
don't care
then you
about
thought of a
people's.
PMDE, of the PMD games.
Yeah, and so that was suggested to me by like half a dozen people. Like, why not do something with the PMD stuff? So I was like, okay, we can take that basis, and that's really where the group came from. And I decided, like, I think this had been suggested to me before I was even out of school. Um, After I left school and then decided I needed something to do, I started the group only because I had the time to do so. And that's where it really came from.
So you took the nothing in your life and filled it with Pokemon and lots of different people.
That's what I like to do, yep.
Excellent. Well, did you ever imagine it would become this big of a thing?
No, I didn't actually. I was actually really afraid that no one would join it.
Well, the group does have a large amount of members, whether they are active participants or just hang around for the art, and every day they post several dozen of entries to the group folders. So many, in fact, that you had to delete old ones and create new folders to fit all the content.
Yeah, actually, we had to merge some of the folders together just because we had too many folders. We were asking DeviantArt if they will make a higher folder limit or unlimited for people who are supergroup because really we paid for the supergroup and we keep paying for it, and it'd be really nice if they could help us out with a much needed upgrade to the feature.
What exactly are the benefits of a supergroup status?
Uh, they're numerous. We have the cool timer on the front page. The journal skins is a big one.
Hmm, of
Eventually, I
course.
want to have a journal skin for the rescuers, the rogues, and the merchants with each with their own skin. Um, I
Even more work
want,
for you.
yeah, but it's cool. It's a bunch of work I like doing, so it's all right. There's a bunch of little small things to do with like I get to have like custom title for people who help out with the group and stuff like that. Just it's little perks, stuff that helps make the group nicer.
Excellent. Speaking of large amounts of content and effort, the plot related content you and the other admins have been producing has grown substantially since the early days of the group. Well,
Oh
first,
yes.
well, first you simply put everything worth mentioning into wonderfully arranged journals. You soon went on to create comics, which grew larger and larger with every passing edition,
Yes.
and now we are up to full blown Flash stories. That seems like a lot of work. How do you keep up with all of that?
Oh, well, that's basically the only thing I do now. Like, every day I either work on commissions so I can keep working on PMD stuff, or I'm working on PMD stuff. Or I go to conventions so I can sell stuff so I can keep working on PMD. Like, this is my life right now. And I don't regret it at all because it's a lot of fun practice and I like telling stories. And this is just practice for bigger stories I'll be telling later. It's everything's practice. That's how I see it. I keep trying different things, getting a little more ambitious with every project, and it pays off because I get to learn a lot about different things, which I find really exciting. The past couple of days, I've been planning for animations that I'm gonna have a few people helping me out with, and I'm so excited for that. I get to start storyboarding those in April, and they should be ready by November-ish. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of work I've planned.
Oh my. So to sum it all up, you enjoy your work, you really get something out of that work, and it's a part of your life, so you enjoy your life.
I do. I've been like infinitely happy since starting this group. I can't express that enough. I get a lot of joy out of making something that people can help with, that people can be a part of. It's really something. I'm appreciative every day for it, that people keep being interested in what I'm doing and wanting to join on their own to tell their own stories. There are some really fantastic stories people tell within the context of the group. I just really like it.
Of course, this all isn't a 1PK job, so there are many people who help you and
Absolutely
who shape the plot and everything with you. So how does that work out?
It's hard because I have to talk to a few different people and let them know all the new things that we've come up with and ask if they have any input. And I try to there are a handful of people who I talk to every time that we come up with a big defining idea. And obviously Evie and Marl, they are the two people who get to hear everything.
Of course,
and,
you live with them. It's
it's
pretty
so
much unavoidable.
they hear.
It's pretty much unavoidable.
Yeah, they
The
hear
walls
every
have
time.
ears.
Yeah, every time I'm babbling, every time I'm just trying to work out an idea, those are the people who I go to because they're right here and they'll listen to me and they'll suggest things, and it's really helpful for me to have someone to actually talk to about ideas. That's how I get them out the best. And aside from them, there's Mike, of course. There's Rico, who has Shroomsworth as his character. Sometimes I'll talk to other people like Booyo, who has Fresnel as his character, or Fresnel, whatever, however you want to say that.
I still pronounce it Fresnel.
Yeah, I know a lot of people do that. Yeah, there's a handful of people who I'll talk to, but it's really Evie and Marl who get to hear all of my planning, and they have cool ideas on their own. Evie's mostly have to do with the library and Lexi and stuff, which is totally fine. I mean, there's a whole story going on there too.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I don't know.
The library really seems to have a little life of its own.
It does. It exists outside of all the guild stuff. They just do whatever they want. And actually, I'm really excited because Lexi and Caldera get a bigger part in part 4.
Well,
actually, part 3 and part 4. Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting you. Well, maybe we'll get the chance to talk to Evie once personally, and maybe hear something about his thoughts on this, on the whole library situation. Yeah. If we are lucky.
If he feels like it, yes.
So, coming back to the Flash stories. The music in those animations is really nice. Let's talk about the musicians. How do you find all those talented people?
Oh, I made a journal, actually, a couple days before I needed music last time, and I was like, this is absurd. I'm asking a lot out of people to just make a whole music thing for me within 2 days. So the response was crazy. I got like 8 people offering to make music, and I assigned each of them a different song or a different like little effect or whatever that I needed. And everyone came through outstandingly. I was really surprised, really happy. And there are some returning musicians this time.
8 people on such a short notice is really
amazing. It really is. This time I got even more people because it was a longer notice. And they've had some really cool songs gotten back to me. I'm excited. There are 2, well actually I guess 3 new songs for this next Flash, which is going to be pretty short. It was actually a scene that was supposed to be in the Mission 7 epilogue, but I didn't have enough time to include it.
Oh,
so
too bad.
It's kind of like a cut, like a bonus thing from that, but it's part 2 now.
Like a bonus track.
Yeah, kind of. Like, it was supposed to have been included. It wasn't. So this is what people get before they get the really large part 3 and part 4.
just so people know, some of the music is available on the PMDE's personal Bandcamp, Fortissimo Hall.
Oh yeah,
what's
I
the exact
definitely.
URL?
It is. I think it's Fortissimo Hall. Yeah, fortissimohall.bandcamp.com, and I'll have to link it when I upload the next flash, which should be either tonight or tomorrow morning, I think.
Exciting news for everyone in the group.
Oh, it's a small flash compared to the others, but I hope people will like it.
Still, it's gonna be awesome. I really love the Devonshire backstory.
I'm glad. That one, I felt so happy reading over that after Marl finished the whole story because I loved it.
It was so atmospheric and dark and.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are going to be expecting something like that for this next Flash, and I feel really bad because it's not nearly as like intense and cool. But I mean, it's an important precursor to parts 3 and part 4.
Well, Devonshire's story has more or less been told now, or at least his important part in the current events, I suppose.
Yeah, we're focusing away from Devonshire and actually to Anana.
Anana, excellent.
Yes. Just a short little glimpse at her for now.
Well, coming back to the music for a second, are there actually any themes you could just listen to over and over until your heart bursts with glee?
Actually, yes. There's so many. I've been listening to nothing but the themes made for this for the past 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. I can't get them out of my head. I can't. They're incredible. We have some really amazing themes coming up. I'm very excited about a couple of the Anana themes, but particularly in part 3, there are a couple of themes for the past portion of the mission that I am thoroughly in love with. There's a Grand Kek theme coming up who I can't get over this theme. It's fantastic and I hope everyone loves it. I hope it adds to the theme.
And of course most of these tracks will be available at the Bandcamp if the creators allow for it.
Yes.
But I suppose they won't really mind because they created it especially for you.
Yeah, most of the themes should be up there. I know for sure the Grand Kek one will be all the Anana themes. Basically, everything by I think everything should be up there actually. So that's good. I'm very happy about it.
Okay, folks. I think it's about time we wrap this episode up. Thank you, PK, for taking the time to talk to me.
Yeah.
All those wonderful people out there. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did.
Yes. Maybe next time we can make a live or something. I don't know if people want to hear that. That would be cool.
If you are up for it, I'm always up for it.
Awesome.
And of course, we'll soon be creating a Tumblr for the podcast as well and announce its URL in a journal so you guys can keep up with what's happening. Please feel free to send your questions and suggestions over there once it is ready. Goodbye, everyone, and have a good day.